Fantastic time to have your company on Weekend Deal. Another great day to shape as best as we can our nation's path. You know, anytime it's topical, anything that can impact you and us, we bring it to the center table here, and we're doing it again today. Everything that must succeed and have long-lasting results must be structured. There must be discipline, loyalty, and honesty, just like the NTA organization. We have at the helm Director General. We have executive directors, 7 of them. And that's how they spearhead and shape the fortunes, the growth and development of our organization, the Nigerian Television Authority. And that's how you can keep our company on the show, because there's a structure, there's a discipline, there's procedure, and we all follow, pushing the path of prosperity. And that's how it should be, whether you're at home, in an organization, in a state, in a community, in a nation. Things need to have a structure. People can understand where they fit in, and then they can join you and they can support you because they understand. When is a lack of clarity, lack of organization, lack of understanding, what can be the resultant outcome is chaos. And we don't want that, do we? Yesterday we had our guests talking about Ambassador Collins Wosu and our dear Mr. Babs. I like it. We talked expansively about some challenges that have bedeviled our export growth, promotion, and by association, the economic impact on Nigeria. But we also said, little matter what we have faced or not done the appropriate way, let us look to the future where growth and development embraces us on a daily basis. But Nigerians need to know the how, the when, the who, the where, and the what. And that's why we are here. Let's do it again today with your effective communication, reaching us via SMS or WhatsApp message so we can trill them. And the country will further understand where we are. My name is Thelma Obaza, as usual. I'm not alone. Yesterday I called that princess. Today's queen. Oh no, princess. Queen no, Patience.
Princess, princess. I'm not queen, the queen, the queen, ma'am. The queen. Okay.
I celebrate you again, darling. You're looking amazing.
You too, baby. You too, baby. Okay, so it is. You know how I like to tell you that it is your favorite. I like to say it that way. I don't know why. It makes me happy.
Put the hand out.
A favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. And like we always say, if it is important for our individual growth and the development of our nation, then we will deal. That's what our deal is all about. And that's why this weekend it's been all about the export sector. We know the importance of exports to any nation at all. If you have a sustainable economy that is growing, you would have job creation, and of course your currency will compete favorably with other currencies of the world. And like Thelma rightly said, there are a lot of challenges facing this very important subsector. She also told us about Mr. Babs and Ambassador Wosu yesterday that they not only bring out the challenges but also preferred a solution. We will be going along the same line in our conversation today as we bring more experts to delve into this very important issue. We want Nigeria to be strong. We want Nigeria to be a strong competitor in the international trade market, just so that we can, as a nation, be proud, have a strong economy, and have a better life.
Indeed.
That's what it's all about.
That's why we gather here often, talking with Nigerians to reshape and redirect for a better fortunes. It's Weekend Deal, and it's all about you and how you can prosper and by association prosper a great country, Nigeria. All about taking what we are reaching, what we are vibrant in, taking it outside our shores and doing it well such that we make a global impact. We're done with making it in a continent. We want to go global. We've done it before. Let's do it again. As we take off with our background feature, we'll see you on the other side.
Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, is primarily reliant on oil exports, which contributes significantly to its gross domestic product, GDP. However, fluctuating oil prices and global shift towards greener energy have highlighted the vulnerability of Nigeria's oil-dependent economy. In response, the country has been exploring ways to diversify its economic base, with non-oil export emerging as a crucial component of this strategy.
Nigeria's greatest potential for exports for generating foreign exchange through export earning is not really in oil and gas. It's in the non-oil sector, especially agriculture. Last year, 2023, Nigerian total revenue, income generated from the export of oil and gas is $60 billion. In the same comparative year, 2023, the export revenue, Brazil, a nation of 216 million people, compared to Nigeria, a nation of 223 million people. Brazil generated as export earning in 2023 $166 billion from the export of agricultural food commodities. Basically, grains, vegetable oil, sugar, and oil seeds. So if Nigeria focuses on manufactured agricultural exports, in other words, adding value to our agricultural raw material exports, we stand an opportunity to relegate income generated from the export of crude oil and gas to the background.
For Nigeria's locally made goods to thrive in international markets, meeting global quality standard is non-negotiable.
The biggest problem is not just only meeting global standard. The biggest challenge Nigeria has is competitiveness. Competitiveness is in yields. For instance, in yields, Nigeria has been the largest producer of cassava for 45 years. For 45 years, no country came close. Nigeria currently produces 72 million tons of cassava. The closest rival to Nigeria is Thailand. Thailand only produces 30 million tons. So Nigeria produces more than double the production of Thailand, right? But Thailand is the world's largest exporter of cassava, either in form of starch or in form of starch derivative or ethanol or cassava chips. Nigeria is not reckoned in any of those areas because our cassava production is not competitive. The yields are very low.
High quality packaging is critical for both product preservation and consumer appeal. Packaging should not only protect the product from spoilage, damage, and contamination, but also be aesthetically pleasing to attract buyers.
Our packaging manufacturing base is very low. So the packaging materials we use in Nigeria for export predominantly are imported from outside Nigeria. So the landed cost is very high. When you now add landed cost of imported packaging material to an already too high, to locally produced goods that are already uncompetitive in terms of pricing, you now have a product that cannot be exported.
For Nigerian businesses to succeed in exporting high-quality goods, government support is essential.
Right now, Nigerian focus policy on exports is called Operation Double Your Exports. Even when you hear it, it means Nigeria wants to double our export of non-oil exports. But in terms of implementation is so poor that the people who are supposed to be beneficiaries are not getting the benefits.
Nigeria's potential for non-oil exports is vast, but to fully tap into this potential, the quality of locally made goods must be improved.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council needs to be better funded. They have fantastic policy, but I think they are not properly resourced to be able to carry out the mission for which they were established. Number two, you can't have a strong export sector without adequate financing. And then thirdly, there is insecurity. Agriculture is suffering because farmers can't go to the farm. Those who are brave enough to go to the farms, the farm roads are unpassable. We are in the rainy season. There are many farm roads, 98% of the farm roads in Nigeria cannot be navigated.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on improving locally made goods for export.
Weekend Deal!
Oh, thank you so much, Francis. Standardizing our products to meet international standards is non-negotiable. We need to upscale and work hard. The right packaging will sell our products so that we too can play in the international market. Now, what is the current state of our local products? How do we assess them? NTA Kano will tell us more.
It is a common belief among Nigerians that anything foreign is better than or superior to the local or indigenous one. This belief places favorable preference to international products over the domestic one, and this has done so much harm to the economy than good.
We consider foreign goods usually less expensive. Why they are less expensive? I can make example. In Nigeria, in those days, we have UNTL textile, we have Gaskia textile. They all produce wrappers. But why wrapper from China, all along from China, including transportation costs to Nigeria, it is being sold in Nigerian market at lower price than our own domestic goods? Because of their technology, because of their rate of production. They produce in mass. As you produce much, per unit cost goes down.
Well, whether the domestic products are lower or inferior in quality compared to the foreign or not, the current economic condition in Nigeria has forced so many locals to look around for the locally produced, cheaper products. And this expert suggests supposed to be an advantage to the local manufacturing industries to stay in business and even increase production. Z&Y is an indigenous tea manufacturing company here in Kano. They supply black tea to all parts of Nigeria. A large amount of the product is exported on a daily basis to the neighboring countries.
A Nigeria, inshallah, India.
Here in Nigeria, when it comes to tea production, I believe we will rank among the top 5. And apart from Nigeria, we export to Niger, Cameroon, and Chad Republic. And we have a lot of patronage there.
This industry is not at all free from current economic pressure in the country. However, the owners believe remaining in the business is the best option.
In spite of the current economic challenges, we will have to look at the number of people that work under us. We have over 500 making a living here. So if you close down the company, what will be their fate?
As companies such as Z&Y strive to continue with production amid this difficult economic circumstance, the questions many will ask: can they sustain this high-level production without compromising quality.
Kuma a hakan muna iya ƙoƙarin yadda za mu yi muga cewa
We still try as much as we can to sustain the quality.
The only alternative for those companies, if they don't have the source of dollar to go and import their raw materials, is maybe they look for an alternative raw materials within Nigeria or within the locality, and that raw materials may not be as qualitative as the foreign one. So this will make them to be producing substandard goods.
Interesting package there from Kanu. Very good of you to wade into the conversation and do it with such enlightenment and such seriousness. We continue to talk about that, and our guests are here. Yesterday was all about challenges and a few solutions. Today we learn more. There are different facets of this export promotion chain, and we have big players here again today. One of them is Julie Ju. All the way from China, but loving Nigeria, living here, and deeply involved in business practices and great work ethic so far. Also involved in export. Let's welcome her. Some would say she's a Chinese business professional, locationed in Nigeria at this time. Her profile is next. Great to have you on Weekend Deal, Julie.
You're welcome to Weekend Deal. Welcome. Okay, I told you we couldn't wait to reveal her. That's Julie. Joining us is another young man who is an expert. He's on top of his turf, totally. A young man who is doing so much as far as our export value chain is concerned. His name is Emmanuel Neji, and he's the MD, NatCert Group Limited. Let's see his profile. Mr. Emmanuel, you're welcome to Weekend Deal Studios. Okay.
And a fantastic time to be here.
Yes.
Yesterday we had the privilege to host Ambassador Wosu as well as Mr. Babs Faleke. We spoke a lot. We went back down memory lane, talked about the challenges, how we have moved forward, then moved back again, where we are today, what Nigerians need to know. But there's more. Like from both of you already, we see that there are many dynamic facets to this export issue, this export matter, this export growth, this potential we talk about for Nigeria. And we welcome you warmly again. And we're going to enrich our conversation. I will take off with Julie because for many, this is novel. Not only is she doing business here, she's been here for 14 years. Let us welcome with applause for that one.
Thank you.
Fantastic of you to be doing that, because by working here, you are promoting Nigeria. You are giving us a good image over there in China. But tell us, One way that people have researched and see that Nigeria can improve our export gains is through solid minerals. And that's an area where you are quite comfortable while you are domiciled in Nigeria. Please tell us about that. Where are we with that? Are we doing well as we ought to?
Not really. At the stage right now, for like solid minerals, we have been exporting the raw ores, the mineral ores. There's no value added. It's just like everything else. So that's what I want to talk about. Like you said, you applauded for me for having been in Nigeria for 14 years. It's because I have faith in Nigeria.
Amazing. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful.
Nigeria, we all know, can be very frustrating. Yes, sometimes I was at the point of a breakdown and in tears and crying because of frustration. But I know where Nigeria can be. Being from China, knew where we were before. Now my friends, they go to China, they all see China is so beautiful, is everything. I like to stay here. But when you look at China, how China evolved to today, you can get a lot of inspirations. China opened up in 1979. Deng Xiaoping implemented the reform and opening up policy. At that time, China's GDP per capita was only $184.
Wow.
The GDP per capita of average GDP per capita of sub-Saharan African countries was $500. Nigeria's was $662. This is according to World Bank. But after China embarked on the road of opening up and reform, and we have consistently worked hard and improved, our GDP average growth rate averaged 9.3% for 40 consecutive years.
Yes. For 40 years, that's 4 decades.
40 years. And so in 2009, China surpassed Japan, became the second largest economy in the world.
Yes.
2010, China surpassed Germany, became the world's largest export country. And 2013, China surpassed USA, became the world's largest trading country. And so today, 2023, China's GDP is $17.7 trillion. Our government revenue, over $3 trillion. So a GDP per capita, over $12,000. So China has evolved. So what can we draw from here? Is like what I watch this program. People are talking about competitiveness and things. So also import. So let's see if our products are priced competitively, the price cost. Then we'll stop import, right? Let's start from reducing import first.
Okay.
So because right now we are importing
many things.
And so then also if our products are competitive on the global market, we can export. So all these market and they are determined by principles of economics. So if your cost is lower, then you have an advantage. So now the question comes, why are we not competitive? So again, is the cost of production. The main thing is the electricity. Electricity, and then there's also transportation.
Yes.
These are the two major costs. So for electricity, over the years, we have not really improved anything. And so again, we don't want to talk about the problems anymore. So how do we
solutions?
So now there are clusters of industries where people can do manufacturing, electricity supplied. So for businesses, I'm talking about like private business. How can we, private people, without relying on government entirely, and what can we do trying to make a business to improve? So maybe first selection of the site for manufacturing. You have to be close to an area where there is low cost and electricity supply. No business can be profitable running on generator.
No.
So that And now there are some solutions, like in the south, there are gas, there are companies, companies have come up, they just supply electricity to industrial clusters. And then also in the north, there's coal. I didn't know coal was so active, coal mining in Nigeria. China, our economy is primarily run on coal-fired power plants. So China, our installed capacity for electricity. When I first came to Nigeria, that was in 2012. I was talking with some government. I said China is like 10 times of Nigeria, both in terms of area. Nigeria, 900.
What about population?
Population, China is 1.4 billion. Nigeria, let's call it 200 million. Yeah, it's like and also area-wise, China is 9.6 million square kilometer. Nigeria, 923,000 square kilometer. It's 1/10 of China. China installed capacity for electricity in 2011 was 1.4 million megawatts. Yeah, so. But over the years, then by end of 2019, China's installed capacity increased to 2 million megawatts. And as of the end of last year, it's 2.9 million megawatts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that shows that 10 times of that is 290,000 megawatts. That's needed for Nigeria to power Nigeria's economy, so that to provide enough jobs for the population.
For everyone. Let's hold the thought for now.
Okay. Yes. It's a win-win situation, really. I mean, that's an example to go by China. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, we're talking about standardization. We're talking about having our products approved by the international market. What exactly do you do in your organization, NASET, and how are you going about it?
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you again for having me on the program.
You're welcome.
Now, for us at NICET, NICET is basically a product of research. And how NICET started was years ago in 2018, we undertook a research in Nigeria, specifically in Niger State. And what we did in 2018 was to try to understand why Niger State, with all the resources they have, talking about the sheer sector of Niger State now, statistics has it that Nigeria has 60% concentration of the shea trees in the world. 60% is in Nigeria. And of that 60%, about 54 to 57% are in Niger State alone. So look at all of that resource and all of that value. So we conducted a research in 2018 to understand why Niger State and Nigeria as a whole has not been able to profitably harness that resource. And the outcome of that research implicated two issues. One of which is the issue of knowledge gap. People don't even understand international standards. And secondly is the issue of the absence of a conformity assessment and certification body. And what that means is that the markets we want to export our shea products to have standards and certifications that they are looking for. And we didn't at the time have any company in Nigeria that is able to perform conformity assessment and certification to those standards. For example, the organic standard, fair trade standard, rainforest alliance standard, and various other international standards. So NICET basically from 2018 till now has been trying to bridge the gap. So we set up two companies, NICET Limited, to undertake certification business, and we also set up another company, NICET Expert Consulting Limited, whose mandate is to do trainings, consultancy, and capacity building to even enlighten and
so that they understand what is even necessary,
what is
so
necessary,
they can fit in.
so they are able to export their products.
But how's the journey been so far?
Well, from the beginning, I would say we really realized that the issue of knowledge gap was a huge problem. We had to do a lot of crusades, a lot of sensitizations for people to even begin to understand what these standards are. And taking a cue from what Julie here has shared with us, she was telling us about how China has transited. In other words, they are not where they've been before. There has been tremendous improvement in that country. I believe, and I strongly believe, that Nigeria can actually improve as well. We can actually improve. Just to speak some statistics.
Okay, but
as I
I'll
round up.
need
Yes.
to ask you to hold it there.
Okay, sure.
It's because we all believe that Nigeria can improve and will improve and
Yes.
must improve that we're having this discussion. But Ibadan has also done some research.
Okay.
And they want to bring it to the fore at this time so
Okay.
that it fits in and enriches our conversation.
Okay.
They are talking about how do we get to have further clarity so that we can key in where there were gaps we need to plug in. And with their support and with information from Ibadan, let us see where Nigeria should traverse next. NTA Ibadan, please come on board.
For any nation to thrive economically, it must be able to produce enough for its populace to consume and such that the excess be exported for commercial profit. Nigeria as a nation can tap into the sizable youth population by encouraging them into production of made-in-Nigerian products like farm produce, local fabrics production like adire and ashoki, manufacturing among others. In recent times, there has been a growing emphasis by the current administration on promotion of made-in-Nigerian products and services to strengthen the nation's economy and currency. The term made in Nigeria refers to products that are entirely or partially made with locally sourced raw materials. Aside the economic impact, value chain development, and so on, what are the key export regulations and standards Nigerian manufacturers need to meet to make their products acceptable for export?
All made in Nigerian products, once the product is produced in Nigeria, it must undergo our mandatory conformity assessment program, which is called markup certification. This markup certification, we will go through all the rigorous production process, all the requirements of the standard. We have standard for all Nigerian made products, and these standards are the minimum requirements that any product must undergo. Once we have the minimum requirement of those standards, we will issue you our markup certificate. We're going to have a certification called product type certification. This is the certification you will use, and you must get the standard of the receiving country that the product is going. It must meet the requirement of the standard before we can issue you the certification.
What are the protocols to obtaining internal certifications and adherence to export guidelines?
Talk of quality control during inspection. For a product to have our certification, you must have a lab in place. You must have a lab in place that you do your in-house testing of your products. Every batch have to be tested, and it must pass the required all the parameters in the standard. Once this requirement in the standard is okay, you are good to go. And we do a quarterly inspection. After getting our certificate, we still have a follow-up inspection every 3 months to make sure you are adhering to the requirement of the standard. And during the process of this quarterly inspection, if you fall below the standard, the certificate is given, it can be withdrawn.
In export of farm produce like yam, cocoa, exotic woods, and others, how can they meet export standards?
For processing, we are doing enough. For market, we are doing enough. If we are not engaging in all this area, then it's become an issue. For export, we have enough processing companies within the country to process it to diverse derivatives, that can now be exported. For example, starch is something that is in high demand globally. How much of the starch companies do we have locally to produce from cassava? So if we don't have all this in place, and then we go back to if we said that we don't have many of the processing company, have we provided the enabling environment and the right policy to ensure that the private sector that will be producing these are engaged? So all this added together are key critical factors that has not made us to engage probably in local consumption or for international trade.
Observers said proper orientation of Nigerian producers of export products by agencies saddled with the export regulation and encouragement of local manufacturers by government in terms of availability of loan with minimal interest, technological adaptation, skill development, and compliance with export regulations will make made-in-Nigerian products a sought-after in international market, thereby increasing the foreign direct investment (FDI), increase in job creation and productivity, thereby making Nigeria a prosperous nation.
Thank you so much, NTA Ibadan. The conversation is still on. As a matter of fact, even during while this was going, as we were watching, we're still talking. So, and then Julie said something about the ease of doing business in Nigeria and why it's not very. Talk about it. The ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Okay, it's all about competitiveness.
Yes.
Yeah. So government has been saying that they promote ease of doing business. They try to make visa easy, faster, and things. So, but to businesses, actually, is the key driver for them to set up factories in Nigeria is the cost of production is lower in Nigeria. So if they can make products at lower cost in Nigeria, they will not import. So that's why, if there's money to be made in Nigeria, it doesn't matter whether the visa is difficult, and then they will find a way to come in Nigeria. So again, we need to focus on the key issues that is holding Nigeria back. So in terms of government, electricity is something that's beyond the capacity of private companies, small SMEs. So government should really address that. There are ways, there are solutions. It's just that no action has been taken.
Action is being taken, but perhaps it's not as fast as we expect. Tell us problem number 2. You say power, government is working on power.
Yeah,
Next?
Power and transportation. But again, today, we know this reality, and it is beyond SMEs, our companies' capacity. So what can we do in this environment? Things. So I just want to share with our good viewers about some ideas, what kind of products can we do? Can we try to export and these kind of
export
things
successfully?
Yes, successfully. So we focus on what we have, the materials, the raw materials, and then also we try to add some value to increase the value of the products so that it can cover the cost of export, the shipping, and that. So I thought that we were going to talk about agriculture. So I was looking at agriculture. What can we do? So agriculture, look at soybeans.
Yes.
Again, China is a big consumer of soybeans. Like China imports 100 million tons of soybeans.
Every month or every
day? Every year. Yes. So before, China was 38% of that came from the United States. But after former President Trump started this hostile attitude towards China and things, so we reduced.
We looked for a way.
We reduced the import. So now from US only 24%, but 70% we buy from Brazil.
What about Nigeria?
Exactly. And so just earlier this month, we had this China-Africa Cooperation Forum. So that we call the FOCAC. During that FOCAC, countries like Zambia signed agreement with China for exporting soybean to China. I look at in the map, Zambia, if a country like Zambia can export soybean to China, there's no reason Nigeria cannot. So
what limits us?
Yes, so that one I think we need to do a large scale
farming.
Yeah,
production.
large scale, mechanized, large scale. Because before, every time I open the newspaper when government talking about agriculture, there's a picture of a farmer plucking rice in the field. In the rice paddy.
Mechanized equipment.
Yes. So I was looking at the picture. I said, the more people we send to the field, the poorer we are.
We need equipment.
We need equipment and large scale so that we can be, our products can be competitive. But still, even at that, we can't compete with the US because those people, they use genetically modified products and they use all sorts of things. So, but we can target at the niche market. I mean, ours are organic, right? It's the best, the most healthy food. And so like in China, has become a market where people favor quality over price now.
Okay, good one.
So like before China, when you try to sell, the only criteria was price. Which one is cheaper? But now, if there's a products, actually, like I would buy which one is more expensive. It's a various products, not the same product.
So that's the power of economic growth. You now have the economic power,
and they have the power to purchase. But let's
yes, because I was going to go to Emmanuel and say to him that you said something from the beginning. I'm looking at, you were talking about my mind, I'm thinking shea butter could be our next oil, could be our next gold. I mean, if you have 60% of the world's shea butter, in the beauty industry, shea butter just does everything. It's a huge ingredient in the beauty industry. So what, since you've been certifying, what's happening to our shea butter? Are we exporting the way we should? Or are there still gaps while we are not doing that?
Are we not even importing? We import shea butter now.
Finished products, yes, we do.
Finished products, but
yes.
What do we do? Are we supposed to add value? Yes, we add value and import. What is the situation with our shea butter?
Okay.
Yes, I need to know that. Yeah.
All right, so I will take it from shea butter, and of course, because from what we realized, the same challenges that we have, that is peculiar, that we have with shea butter, that's the shea trees, is the same challenge that also spans across other products generally. The issue of conformity to international standards. From my perspective, from what we've been doing over the years, I would say there are three major things that we need to address to be able to export our shea products and also other agricultural products. And when I make these recommendations, I'm speaking from the perspective of being able to export to the lucrative markets, to the niche markets.
Yes.
So we talk about shea butter, we talk about sesame, we talk about cocoa, we talk about cashew, hibiscus, soybeans, and many other products. These are all agricultural products that are doing beautifully. Three things we need to do. One, we need to address the issue of traceability.
Okay.
Traceability. And traceability simply means being able to tell the story of a product from farm to consumer.
Yes.
That's one major challenge that we have in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Why are we challenging that? We don't know the farms
they're
coming from.
What do you mean? You mean the documents to back them up?
Documentation, yes, to be able to show that these are activities
Why
that have
even a challenge?
From primary production to
Mr. Emmanuel,
lack of awareness.
You said that Nigerians don't know
lack
the
of
how.
awareness.
Okay.
Yes, lack of awareness. And apart from that too, there is the issue of, of course, the issue of lack of awareness, and then even complying with the standards themselves is also a problem.
Talk about that.
I give you an example. We produce a lot of tomatoes in Nigeria. If you go to Sokoto today and you buy, tomato from a farmer in Sokoto, and you go to Kano, you buy tomato from another farmer in Kano, and you bring it together as an aggregator, you end up with two products that are not of the same standard, not of the same quality. There should be uniformity of standard. We should find a way to unify the standards of our agricultural produce, because part of the realities that we must face is the fact that a lot of production that is happening currently in Nigeria are by smallholder farmers.
True.
And if there is no uniformity of standards, by the time the big players who are now the exporters or the processors go to these different farmers in different locations to source raw material, they are going to have just a mix of rubbish because quality is not in place.
Coming on the
you
same
understand?
level.
So,
but who's that ought to be something we should have handled before now. What did we not do right that brought us to this point?
Okay, so
and what can we do now?
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, from my experience, one of the things that we need to do, and immediately, is to have a uniform standard for primary production. So what it means is that at the primary level of production, we should have a standard that tells the farmers what to do and what not to do. That is one thing that we need to do to be able to get it right. I was talking about three things that we need to do. So one of them is traceability. And within traceability, part of the things we need to do is to set up standards for primary production. Because what some countries even do is, when they set up standards for primary production, with that, they are able to approach other countries to sign some sort of trade partnership that says, if we're exporting a particular product to your destination, we want you to consider this as being equivalent to your own regulation. I give you an example. From 2018 till now, we've been able to get over 20 indigenous companies certified organic.
Very
they are
good.
exporting
Very
organic
good.
products from Nigeria.
Good one.
Now, if you look at countries like the US, as well as the regions like the EU, what they've done is they both have good regulated organic sector. and they both have their organic regulations. So what these two regions have done is to have a trade partnership with each other to say any producer in the US that is producing according to the US organic standard can export seamlessly to the EU.
Because they all have
because they are at par, they have that understanding.
Oh, there's
Tell us the third
if we-
thing. The third thing before we go on a
Okay,
break.
so the third thing that we need to do is, of course, the issue of conformity assessment and certification,
Certification, yeah.
which is what we are already doing. But it's a large market, and the response is coming, but slowly. We need to have more and more companies in Nigeria certified to different organic regulations, not only organic, but even to food safety regulations, like HACCP, that's Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, ISO 22000, that's Food Safety Management System. These are voluntary standards. Because what the world is doing today is they are taking it a step further, from the general standards
Statutory,
that have been
statutory
signed by the
standard,
Codex
yeah.
Alimentarius Commission. The world is now taking it higher. People want some additional due diligence done, and that
Because
is where the
good health,
voluntary
you
standards
can't buy
come
good
in.
health in
buy
any
with
market.
money,
And
so-
once it's lost,
Definitely.
it's lost. It can't be
It's lost.
purchased.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this very enriching conversation. Well done so far. Marvelous, Julie. Our second break beckons. We'll take it. We'll be back. Don't go away. Keep your messages coming in.
Okay, improving our local products for the international market. That's what the conversation is all about. And our experts here are doing justice to it. But somebody's getting some messages, so let her read us some messages. Thank you for joining this conversation. We do
want to thank you,
sincerely
Nigeria.
appreciate you.
Want to thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, Patience, for wading in. Some of the questions were for our guests yesterday, but I think our guests who are here today are marshaled with enough or even more information, and they can handle some of these questions or some of these reasonings by Nigerians. Some is saying, my name is Komolafe Martins, a seasoned and experienced non-oil export business manager. Kudos to NTA. I'm proud to be a Nigerian. See what you are bringing to the table? Yes, it is good because you've identified that we need to improve our locally made goods. If not, what's the point exporting? Says so far, many things have been said by a myriad of experts. But let me remind you all, and the experts as well, to look into the issue of having a structure. Does Nigeria have a structure or a format that we are working assiduously towards? What are we role modeling our export promotion process towards or after, so that no one is left behind and we can access the best market out on global platform? Let me just take another one. Your topic this morning is amazing. Thank you, Weekend Deal. Thank you, NTA. I'll take one more. Someone say I'm in Ekiti. I'm a farmer. And I farm in large scale. I want to know how I can become an exporter. Someone says we're facing serious insecurity issues in the country, especially in the Northwest. We hope that when we overcome this, we too will come aboard and be exporters ourselves. Okay, there are a lot. Maybe I'll start with them. Let Emmanuel take this one. Emmanuel, you answer, then Julie, you answer. Patience, you take it from there.
Okay, thank you very much. So one of the viewers asked a question, like what structure, do we have a structure or some sort of country that we are trying to emulate, that we are trying to imitate to be able to get our products to those destinations? I would say I believe that Nigeria is doing something. We are not where we should be now, but definitely there are efforts that are being put in place. From our own side as a private sector, NICET Limited, we've been on several forums, on several tables of discussion, advocating for standards. And we keep talking about this uniformity of standards, having a system to unify standards for export. I think this is one of the things that we need to do. And when we're talking about countries that we could emulate, I can give two examples. You look at a country like Peru, or let me even come to Africa. You look at a country like Kenya. In 2000, as at 2000, Kenya's agricultural export, total agricultural export, was about $645 million.
Okay.
And they were not exporting to the niche markets. When I talk about niche market, I'm talking about the EU, I'm talking about the US, because these are markets that have stringent standards, but of course they are ready and they are able to pay value for due diligence. As at 2000, Kenya's agricultural export was $645 million, most of which was not going to the niche markets. Fast forward to 2020, Kenya's agricultural exports topped about $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. You
That
can
means
imagine the geometric. So they've definitely done some
beyond
homework.
leapfrogging.
And what did Kenya do? Which is the same thing that Peru and several other countries have done. The three solutions I was talking about, addressing the issue of traceability, then there is the issue of packaging, proper packaging and labeling. Because when you are exporting a product, so basically the way I always like to present it is, if you are coming into a person's home, you're visiting someone's house, and the person gives you a rule to say, look, before you come into my house, you have to take off your shoes.
You have to.
You have two options. It's either you take off your shoes to enter, or you turn around and go back. So that's basically what we have to do. If the niche markets are saying you must put traceability in place, if they are saying you must have proper packaging and labeling in place, if they are saying you must comply and you must certify your products to show compliance to the standards that we want, you definitely have to comply to be able to export to those markets.
Okay, let's have Julie wade in. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Great.
Amazing.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a very good input about this. So just now I was mentioning that China, now people prioritize quality over price. My point is that opens up an opportunity for Nigerians. Because our cost is high. There's not much we can do now. But how can we build the business? Is to target at the markets that prioritize quality over price. Yes, like organic. Our Nigerian, made in Nigeria soybeans name card is organic, non-genetically modified. Yes, and so also. I'm talking to our viewers, if you have more capital, can do large-scale farming, then you can do like soybean and these, and then just make everything organic and build your name and a brand. So that is for the larger player. And then also some people can do vertically to add value. So just like I said, the shea butter and things. So if you can just get the fruit and then you get the oil and then do some processing to increase the value, then that will also sustain the cost of export, even though our cost is higher. But by adding value, that offsets some of that shortcoming. And things. So there are many
with knowledge.
Knowledge. Yes.
People can add value when they know what value
to
add. And
the thing is that when you go into business, you have to study it. Many times people come to me, Julie, we need to talk. I said, I don't need to talk. You need to talk. Because let me sit down. You talk to me about a project. You won't survive 3 questions from me. So the thing is that a lot of our sisters and they think easy money, fast money. But instead of really put their heart into what they do, become an expert in it. It's only
so what you are saying is that export business is really for the serious-minded people
exactly.
who are ready to stand the test of time. We'll come back.
And also do the hard work.
Yes,
and this conversation is just apt because we're talking about building brands for international market. We're talking about standards. We are talking about making sure that we conform to standards as put by the niche markets and other markets.
It sounds easy, but what we've not been doing, some people are finding it very hard.
But we need to do
to
it.
Utilize the information because that's not how they know how to do business.
We must do it.
We must change
it. And
for Nigeria to succeed.
Exactly, and that's what NTA Port Harcourt is talking about. They are joining the conversation now. Building brands for international market. NTA Port Harcourt, take it away.
My first contract internationally, I was here. This company were looking for a particular service and they had made a call. They had been offered, like other companies, opportunity to do a tender, and it took them a whole long time. When they gave us opportunity, in less than 24 hours we have responded to them, and we brought in all the documentation, all the statutory requirement, and all the references that we have, just showcased over there. And the manner of presentation, the articulation, the interface was amazing. And at the end of the day, of course, we were ready for the physical interview.
We recently launched our ready-to-wear brand, which is Bozillion. Bozillion is a sustainable fashion brand, and which has a cultural heritage around it. So, after that event, because of how exclusive the brand itself is, we had a call from Tex World, Tex World and Apparel Sourcing, and they were like, they loved my design and all that, and that was how we were invited to the US for a symposium.
A strong brand is more than just a logo or a catchy slogan. It's the identity of your business and the key to sustaining customer relationship. In Nigeria, where there's a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions, your brand identity must resonate with local nuance while also being adaptable for global appeal.
As a brand, one of the strategies we initiated is to build on trust, because people want to be sure that the people they are dealing with are people that they will not run with their money. They will not run away with their money. They can be dependent upon. We follow up with information that is coming out, and the information helps our marketing strategy, helps us to be able to develop the kind of decisions that we need to make.
One of the strategies that I use to make me stand out, it's ability to manage space. Talking about the site analysis, you understand? Most people don't believe you can have a 5-bedroom duplex on a half plot, let's say 50 by 50, and you still have car parked in. Most people don't even believe you can also have a 4-bedroom duplex on a quarter plot.
For a brand to successfully expand its footprint and build a global presence, it requires comprehensive strategies that will make it stand out.
Packaging is very, very important, because to every nation, they have their packaging style. And most people want to engage UK market to European market. The standards are different. Even in terms of the paper or the content, people produce without producing the procedures of how it is done. You must be able to look at the market and what the market needs and be able to tailor it.
Every country have their own climatology, talking about weather. So when you study their weather, you'll be able to know the choice of building material that can thrive in such an area. You understand? If you have area where you have snow falling, you have to understand the kind of roof.
You have to also try to attend international shows. You have to go for exhibitions. Exhibitions help people, even if they don't buy. They will help your brand in the sense that people will come, have a feel of your brand, will see your designs. You have to also package your product very well. Is it your labeling? Is it the name tags? Is it the boxing and everything? Is it the shipping? You don't have to be tacky in any way. You have to be detailed all the way.
Every brand must be able to cut out information that people that they need will be able to understand, so that when those services are being dispensed, when those services are being rendered, people can be able to identify, this is what I need.
Nigeria's potential as a branding powerhouse is huge. By developing strong, authentic brand identities, Nigerian companies can not only capture the hearts of local consumers, but also make a mark on the global stage.
I can see you raring to go.
Okay, so actually, in response to the person who was talking about NEPC making their interventions more practical, I actually want to give it to NEPC because personally, as NISAT Limited, we've worked with NEPC for a few years now, and I can say for sure that there are some interventions that NEPC is doing. For instance, 3 years ago, through NEPC and GIZ's intervention, we were able to get 8 companies certified to food safety standards.
Wow, that's good.
They continued that feat. Last year also, we were able to scale it up alongside, of course, other certification bodies too. But for us at NISAT Limited, through NEPC's intervention, we were able to facilitate HACCP, that's Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point certification, for 45 companies.
That's amazing.
So
Well done.
they are actually doing something. So, but I totally agree with this person's feedback that NEPC can also look at how they can make, they can create some sort of maybe an incubation system where intending exporters, new wigs as it were, can actually, be attached to a company that is very experienced in export so that they are able to learn firsthand the practicalities. That is, of course, alongside learning how to comply with the standards of the international
market. Because that compliance is so critical.
Very, very important.
So critical.
Okay. Yes.
Julie, yes. You talked about the ease of doing business, and you said that there are challenges inherent. You've also let us know that amidst those challenges, there are a myriad of opportunities. So, you are speaking from a background of amazing amount of knowledge. So it's Emmanuel. For the viewer, the young intending exporter who has an idea, who has a little bit of resource, all this is a gamut of knowledge that they are still trying to wade in. There's so much confusion. We've heard about the support of NEDC, but were I to be a young intending exporter, I have an idea. Won't it be okay to team up with other young people perhaps to form a cooperative? Will that be able to get us where we want to go faster?
Absolutely. It's a very good idea. So that is like a support base. We have a support base. So for people, so that one can be in the form of like association or something, so that together, in China we say it's the crowd. When we come in crowd, we are stronger together. And because also particularly in business, it's the value chain.
Yes.
Yeah, that will also help reduce the cost. Like in China, the manufacturing cost is going high now. Labor cost is high, land cost is high, and everything. But countries like Vietnam, it took them 10 years to catch up a little bit from China, take away some from China. It's because they don't have the value chain. Just like a shoes, the shoelace is a different factory from the shoe. Yeah. So if they are in China, is it down the street, across the street, and so it's very efficient. It's the efficiency that will make up the higher cost. Nigeria too, we have higher costs, but if we can do everything more efficiently together, that would be.
Let me ask a question. I know if you know patience, I'll ask the odd questions. So they told us that while we were in school learning how to draw cockroaches, learning the different parts of grasshopper, in China, children were learning how to make wristwatches. Is it true? That children in primary school were learning how to make wristwatches?
No, that's not true.
That's not true. People were learning how to draw cockroaches in school. They left there the different parts of cockroaches. And China children were putting wristwatches together. I need to ask you that question.
We're about to wrap up our conversation. We're about to wrap up our conversation. So much. I like the belief that our guests have in Nigeria.
Yes,
we are able. It all takes organization and orchestration with due diligence and intentionality. Your final words, lady and gentlemen, please, before we close.
Okay, so from my side, just to add to what Julie has beautifully shared, yes, we can have a cooperative structure because from my experience, it's something we've tried and it actually works. There are some companies that we have today who have different certifications, and how we're able to facilitate that is by their coming together. For instance, for organic certification, there's what is called Organic Grower Group. That's basically an organic cooperative where they come together and it's easier for them to achieve that. Final words from me, I strongly believe in Nigeria and I know that we are going places. The same thing that other countries have achieved, we are able to achieve. I just have to play my role. Everyone here has to play their roles. Viewers and all stakeholders, put in your best and would certainly get there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, Nigeria is a blessed country with all the resources available. So, of course, Nigeria is very challenging. There are challenges, but we, Nigerian brothers and sisters, nobody owes us a good life. We have to work hard for our good life. Despite the challenges, we can make it.
Thank you so much, my China Nigerian sister.
Thank you. And that's our favorite meal today. There's no time. We will hang out after the program. Okay, we'll hang out and learn more.
You are an amazing.
We'll take you out. Yes, we'll
Emmanuel, I am proud of you. Well done.
We'll take you out. We'll take you out. We are going now to touch base with educational television in Lagos. They are ready and eager to wade in, and they have done some research on overcoming challenges in this export value chain. ETV, come on in, please.
In a world interconnected by trade, the value of locally made goods have never been greater. From unique crafts to sustainable practices, local artisans are stepping into the global markets. Exporting can be very rewarding in diverse ways. One of the major benefits involved in exporting is increasing sales and productivity. Before one can get into exporting business, some documents and certifications are required from the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Nigeria is rich in resources and Africa's largest economy, yet the industry faces a lot of challenges which hinder the growth and efficiency of Nigeria's export sector. Some of the exporters share their experiences.
The challenges local producers face is number one, power. Then number two, the support for SMEs from banks and financial institutions is another major problem.
Most of us find it difficult to get customers across Nigeria. It's been challenging exporting them because most of the time, by the time you secure the market, for you to be able to export it formally out of Nigeria, you need lots and lots of certification. So this makes us to go through the informal way, which is sending it through either DHL or NACO.
As a Nigerian, we have to hustle, to make our own money to do business. No help from the government, no help from anywhere. As the dollar is increasing, the rate at which the shipping fee also increases. So there is no fixed price for shipping fee outside the country. It keeps increasing.
Aside the challenging situations that slow down exportation, Nigeria exports a variety of agricultural products which portrays our agricultural heritage. Can these products match the global markets?
What we have been producing here in terms of our outfits, our shirts, even our leather products, are doing exceptionally well for those of our clients in various parts of the world.
As Nigerians, producing the best, giving out our best over there. Once they see that the best is out there, I believe every other thing will sort itself.
Our products are in very high demand out there. The market potential is massive.
Trade is an engine of growth that creates better jobs, reduces poverty, and increases economic opportunity. So, in order to overcome the hurdles of exporting products, as well as designing the prospects for our Nigerian products in the foreign markets, the Nigerian government plays a pivotal role. As a signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Agreement Treaty and other global trade policies, Nigeria stands at the edge of new era of opportunities of innovative solutions and technologies, ICT practices, modern export hubs, and other digitized trading platforms from which the country can leverage on for growth.
So if there is more input from the financial institutions, I know banks used to do a lot in the past for fashion, but now things have changed. It's not like before.
I believe if there are innovative solutions in trying to in the area of exchange of currencies, in payments and every other thing, that would be a great relief for especially the payment aspect.
If there are funds in the business, if you can grow more than this, of course, people coming after us, young graduates, people out there looking for jobs, we're able to employ them and we'll be able to also feed families.
To overcome the hurdles of logistics, infrastructure, and funding, Nigeria must continue to embrace innovative solutions and technology. Therefore, there is a need for more robust export promotion, leveraging technology and support from the government. The future of Nigeria exports is bright, but only through investment and development will the nation truly unlock its potential.
Okay, quite amazing. The value chain is quite an interesting one. And when you're well trained and you're well skilled, you can find a place for yourself. It's all about you and improving our life's quality in general. We have another guest with us. He is Alhaji Mohammed Sani Gauba, Chairman, Business Visa and Training Limited. Let's welcome him. But first, we'll see his profile.
Weekend Deal Studio.
Thank you very
You're
much.
A friend to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. You know, packaging has been one of the great challenges we have as far as marketing our goods to the international market is concerned. And I do know that when it comes to packaging, you are big on packaging. So tell us about packaging and exporting our goods and all that.
You see, when we say packaging, really we shouldn't confuse our followers.
Okay.
You package according to the market you are targeting.
Okay.
There is no single pattern that is globally accepted. If you target market is Saudi or Middle East, you should know the only packaging acceptable there has to be very classic and has to have its own the communication language, like Arabic.
But that means you must do your due diligence.
Yes, you must do your research. That's where research comes in.
Do your due diligence.
Yes,
And beside that, we have the products that they need. We should hold on to something. And particularly on packaging, these products, we believe in the quality of it, and most of them were given to us by nature. So over tampering with the quality in there, or for a buyer to be telling you that it has to be this moisture, it has to be that, you are tampering with the nature. So insist on what you have. And beside that, if he dictates to you, apart from the certifications you're going to pay, you have to now pay for importation of materials, and the processing machines has to be right, and here you have to pay for all those certifications that will warrant you. And beside the local certification, they will now insist you should now have another international certification that will permit your product to get in there. All these are expenses. So accumulatively, at the end of it, it has to go high. And forgetting the content, the value of the content in there, they will be telling you, come on, see, making comparison with another product, that why is it Nigerian product is so expensive. Forgetting all these channels. And beside that, if they said, oh, like our natural organic by nature, that you package in there, and someone is making comparison with another organic that is being modified under organic roofing. Really two different things. So ours, theirs that even they have tempered with nature, modify it, is a man-made organic, and they ask for premium. And what about us?
That is natural.
Thank you. We didn't temper with it. We get it. It's a gift from nature. And we should ask a premium for it. And anybody who tells you that Nigerian things are expensive, tell them it is premium. And we should be able to identify and separate them, because we were blessed with all grades of natural things, and which the world find it difficult to even understand. We have them in different categories and different standards. That's why you see some confused guys. They will say, no, we are mixing the whole thing. I want this. Look, if you're stuck of our agencies, promoters, and they will now be rubbishing our products, they have returned Nigerian products after exporting it to another country. Look, if the heading is saying 2,000 containers of Nigerian products have been returned, that's the caption there. But what reason? Most of the reasons are either documentation or sizes or packaging, not the content.
Not the content itself.
Yes, not the content.
Okay.
It's good
So
to
we
know.
shouldn't accept defeat.
Yes.
And if we are saying that, okay, they are now trying to dictate to us, look, population matters anywhere. We have the large population. We should be consuming these items. We will look good. We will look younger, and they will admire us and come back to us.
Okay.
Hey, what are you using? I want to pay a premium. That's
For
when
what
you
you are
negotiate.
using. Okay, so we must always look good now.
Yeah.
What the
Absolutely.
thing you have come on board to ensure that patients and I will be looking like first ladies of this our awesome country after this. But let me ask you this. You know, what you have said has really given some people out there courage and determination. You know, but some of them are talking about the setback financially. Is it costly to get on the board, to begin to export these things at all? Or must we always come in groups? I know you've been doing it for a while. Somebody who is just coming into the market, what ought they to look out for? Yes, my product is premium, but how do I even start? How do I know where to go? Because sometimes, even that your premium product must be targeted at a place where it has the best impact.
That's very good. See, all these promoters, government agencies saying that we're promoting export, do they have farm? They are relying on these peasant farmers. Do you care how they go there and secure those things? If you said you now want to trigger an export market, which farm do we have that is registered under government? That from there they can Google and say, this is the farmland, this is the size of it, and this is where we farm this product. There is none. And beside that, if you say there is an insecurity there, do you care to know that we have armed security guys that are called rangers? Their duty is to protect our bushes, to protect our farms. Are we utilizing them? Who is heading that one? So tell me how you're going to close a deal without this information. And tell me if you now said you're going to rely on a peasant farmer to now come up with ways of his maneuvering to now source these farm products and then rely on him and dictate to him the prices and try to dictate the quality for him. At what premium? Come on. We should now turn around things if we really want to. And beside that, why are we always focusing on items of this coming from the farm? Do we forget that we can make a huge amount of money from our retirees? After training them for 30 years, 40 years, they're retired. You don't know we can make money from them? We should register them, sell them out to those countries, let them penetrate those systems, and then give us a clue how to now penetrate there. But they come here, they come into our system, they know our laws are porous. You can see when they revelate, they see everything is just in shambles. They go directly to our village markets, buy off the items there. They even now go to our farms, buy off these items. At what rate? At international rate? And how do they even get there? And how much are they buying it? How are they taking it out of this country? Come on, we have to ask questions. And beside that, we have seen that they have grown the audacity to take all these items.
But meanwhile, let's continue to tell Nigerians, buy made in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Can you see that sign over there? Nigerians, don't go buy international. Buy made in Nigeria products.
Full potential.
Be your brother's keeper.
Yes. I know, you know, Julie said something. Julie said, number one, we import too much. Then when she said that, I was thinking, what we go through to export, are the importers going through the same thing to bring these goods in? These are some of the questions we'll try to answer today. Don't go away. The conversation is getting even hotter. We'll go on a short break.
Patronize all the products.
Yes, do.
Alhaji Sani, as we wrap up, the final words.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. And as you can see, and anybody who cares to know and to see for himself the riches of the product we have available in Nigeria and the value added to it, the processes. When you add value here in Nigeria, you get multiple companies and you get engaged a lot of people to now benefit from it. And I tell you, whenever you see a Nigerian product, when you see 100%, it's 100%. But if you take any foreign product, you will see the percentage of what you think is in there. They even classify it there, 30% shea butter. The rest of the 70% is what? But you go ahead and apply it. But if you see 100% shea butter in Nigeria is 100% shea butter, and definitely it's organic. We don't plant shea butter. We wait for the season. We send women to go and pick the seeds. We process it. So you are sure of what is in there and the uniqueness of it. Look at baobab. We don't plant it. We wait for the season. And so turmeric. But who identify us with all this things? Let us be proud of it. Let us use it and make money from it. We don't have to force anybody to go by their own laws and bring us back to our feet, begging or try to push these things. We have the population. We can sell. And it matters. Thank you.
Okay, because greatness is in us and in our land, and all that matters here. Okay, together, can we say bye-bye to Nigeria?
Love you.
God bless Nigeria. Patronize Made in Nigeria products.
Yes.
Bye.
Readily available.